Welcome to Eventual Millionaire. I'm Jamie Masters, and today on the show, I'm really excited to have AJ Mihrzad on the show. He runs onlinesupercoach.com, and I've seen him and met him in person, and it's amazing to see the trajectory that he has just shot out from. So I'm excited to get insights from you today. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, AJ.
Jamie, thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be on the show. I appreciate you.
I think the first time we met, we were in PJs at Ryan Lee's event. The first time I actually met you in person.
We were wearing pajamas at Ryan Lee's event. That was so much fun.
It was so weird. Be like, hi, I've never met you before. I'm in my PJs. Great. But it was actually an amazing, wonderful exchange because you started, how long online did you start? And sort of give me the trajectory of how it's gotten so big to today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my online fitness business around 2010. And that's when I was just taking those baby steps. I had an in-person training studio originally. So it was really learning the dynamics of delivering the same value online. So it took me quite a few years to get things right, a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes. And then once I started to gain traction, I grew my online fitness business. And from there, those skills allowed me to scale up. And all of a sudden, I was being sought out by different fitness professionals and coaches to want to learn what I did to grow my online business. So I started teaching coaches and fitness professionals how to grow their online businesses. And the rest is history. You know, that's just been taken off exponentially since then.
Well, and it's funny too. We just chatted beforehand. We just had Yuri on the show. He's friends with you. We all sort of all know each other, which is insane. But what I really want to focus on today too is sort of that beginning piece, which I think you're working on with clients. When they've got when they've got the personal training thing and they're trying to pull it online. So they have a business, but getting into a really, really wide space where there's tons and tons of competition. Me and Yuri talked about niching and that, but tell me about how people actually get clients, because that first part is like, how do we actually do this online coaching thing where it's actually making money and tangible, and we're not just randomly messaging people on Facebook going, hey, can we sell you? Hey, can we sell you? Right? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, my company is called Online Super Coach. I truly feel that every single person has a superpower, right? You could also call that your unique ability or your zone of genius. Essentially, that is your niche, right? What is your specialty? And based on that, you want to position yourself as the go-to expert. So let's say, for example, one of my students, he focuses on busy working moms who are entrepreneurs, executives, and CEOs aged 29 to 55, right? That's his specialty. So he helps them with his superpower. And once he has that as a foundation, he then uses a multitude of different lead generation strategies to bring that specific woman into his funnel.
Oh, so I'm that specific woman. So tell me how you actually got him to get in front of those people and actually care enough to A, get to his funnel, and B, sell them at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, since he is a specific expert, he wants to use specific marketing. So there's three main methods that I focus on with my students in terms of generating leads and getting clients. One is using position free marketing. So that's like social media, using an email list, even in person. We're using free organic strategies to cultivate leads. The second, which is my favorite, is paid marketing, right? Using Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads, very, very specific and very easy to dial it in, in terms of obviously finding the demographic, the age group, the profession, the gender. It's so specific to bring those people in. And the third would be partnership marketing. Okay. So let's say my student knows you, you basically have this amazing website where you help entrepreneurs and people that are looking to take the entrepreneurial journey. And if you guys did a joint venture together and said, well, here's Joe, and he focused on, busy working females who are entrepreneurs, executives, and CEOs. And based on that, you guys work out a deal where perhaps you do a 50-50 split, or maybe he even coaches you for free and you're exposing him to your audience, right? So there's a multitude of different ways, but I like to focus on using position marketing, paid marketing, and partnerships.
Okay, I want so much more. Okay, so give me one tactic free-wise, and then I really want to dive into the paid stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So free right now, social media is the best. Obviously, it's one of the fastest ways for a person to generate clients. Most people, let's say if they're first starting out, taking that journey from a 9-to-5 to an online business, the number one list that they have is their social media followers. Okay. So let's say with Facebook, right? It's the simplicity of using your Facebook page as a platform to put out, let's say, video content or even text posts, and you're making a specific offer for a specific person, from there, you have people that are already following you that have the potential of becoming your clients.
Okay, how do we do that? Because a lot of people don't want to feel spammy, especially if it's like their personal Facebook. They're like, I don't want to be the person going, hey, hire me. So how do we do it like not skeezy?
Yeah, absolutely. So one great example would be like a video series. That's something I have my students do. Simple, anywhere from like a 3 to 7 part video series where you're essentially just putting out videos on Facebook. I like to use my phone, quick selfie, hit record. And you would start off with one, telling your story, why you do, what you stand for, what do you love, what do you hate, getting people to know, like, and trust you. Then you want to basically talk about a new offering, right? So let's say, for example, you have a 9-to-5 corporate job, but you have this passion to be a life coach. So basically you would say, hey, listen, I have this new program. It's a program that's going to help people to take control of their lives, find their purpose, and to live the absolute best. And I'm now taking on 5 new clients into my new life coaching program. So like this post and I'll message you with more information. So it's using social media to put out an offer, something that you're passionate about, why you want to do it, and a simple call to action, which works well as like this post and I'll message you with more information. And then from that point on, you start to develop the conversion conversation.
I like that. So it's also sort of secretive in that people don't want to be like, I'm in on commenting, or they don't want the barrage of craziness. Because, once you raise your hand, if it's not totally a good fit, you don't want somebody to be like, and go crazy at trying to sell you. Yeah. So what is that message back to them with more information? Is it like the deadline? Do they hop on phone calls? How does that go?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's multiple ways of converting your clients, right? It's really based on one, like what type of version a person is comfortable with. And number 2 is the price point. So typically the higher the price point, the more time and the more intimacy is required in that conversation. Okay. So let's say for that example, a person wants to start life coaching and they put out this video, they're making a great offer, and you have 5 people that are interested. 5 people like it, simple as that. You reach out to them. So it's a simple conversation. I like to use email first, where you're just going back and forth to see if they're a good fit. So, hey, what are your goals? What are you struggling with? What have you tried? And what are you open to? And then from there, you just go for a simple, gentle conversation. Hey, I would love to set up a quick call to see if or how I could help you. And if they're open to it, obviously, if you've already warmed them up through some emails, so understanding their struggles, their problems, their dreams, their desires, then you jump on the phone and you simply make an offer. Let's say if you have a 12-week life coaching program, come up with a price point. Let's say it's $1,000 for 12 weeks. And you just map out exactly what they need, what their problems are, what their setbacks are, and how your solution could take them to the promised land.
The promised land. I like it. Okay. So tell me more. Let's actually dive into the paid side. Because one thing, sometimes people don't like posting on Facebook because they're like, I don't want to sell my friends and family and it's a really small list and blah, blah, blah. So they're always about like, oh, I want other leads somewhere else that are better. And, even though they won't necessarily convert better, because the know, like, and trust takes a lot longer to warm people up. Because no offense, there's a lot of scammers online doing paid Facebook ads and YouTube and all sorts of stuff. So how would somebody get started into doing the paid space without hiring someone that's like $1,500 a month?
Yeah, that is a great question. Paid traffic is a whole different animal than positioned and organic marketing. So on your Facebook page or Instagram, any social media, people have some idea who you are. There's a know, like, and trustability factor. Let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 2 being ice cold, 10 is here's my money, I'm ready to buy. Maybe they're like a 5 or a 6. They have some relationship with you. With cold traffic, people are a 1 or 2. Who the hell are you and why should I give you money? So the objective there is to warm them up sufficiently. Okay. So step 1 would be to create a warm-up vehicle. Okay. And there's a multitude of different warm-up vehicles. The top 3 that I love would be number 1, an email autoresponder. So it's a series of emails that are sent to the person every single day, showing them your credibility, telling stories, case studies of other clients, and adding value, right? Taking the person from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ready to buy. Number 2 would be a video series, right? Similar to what you would do on Facebook. Let's say if you're just doing it organically, but on an email, you could have 3 to 5 part videos where each video you're adding value, you're sharing case studies, showing them you are the man or the woman that could help them, taking them from that 1 or 2 to 5, 6, and 7. Third, my absolute favorite is a webinar. It's probably the fastest warm-up vehicle where you can literally get a person from a Facebook ad to watch a webinar, 30 minutes to an hour. They go from 1 or 2, who the hell are you, to 7 or 8, and then you could get them on the phone and sell them your services.
Yeah, by the end of a webinar, sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And you're like, thank you so much. But of course, there's a lot of work that sort of goes into that. So number one, how do we even get the people on the email list or on the or on the webinar? So that way we go from paid to getting their email address.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to use a simple formula that is problem, promise, call to action. Okay. So everyone has a superpower. They have a special ability that can help people with. And there's a lot of people that have problems that need solving. Okay. So we're in the business of solving problems, right? The bigger the business, the bigger problem they solve, right? So I think of myself as solving a problem, but you have a guy like Elon Musk who's solving a world humanity problem, right?
Eventually we're going to get there. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So essentially you have to really take inventory of what problems do you solve, right? So if you're first starting out, it's a great thing to make a list of like, what are the problems and pains that I solve? Okay. Then you could come up with a lot of different topics that you could help people with. So when you're developing your marketing, you're essentially using lead magnets, webinars, ebooks, videos that are solving one specific problem. So it's a pretty simple, transaction, problem, promise, call to action. Here's a problem that you have. Here's a promise that I could solve it. Add your email to this and I'll give you a quick solution. Okay. So you're making an ethical bribe to help them out. But essentially, as you're putting out your content, you're putting out your ads, anything you're putting out into the marketplace, you want to make sure that it's solving specific problems to your specific demographic.
Definitely. Okay. So many questions from this also. So when somebody's right at that sweet spot, how do we make sure that it actually is a no-brainer to opt in? Because no offense, there's 1,000 Facebook ads, there's 1,000 YouTube ads, all pitching lead magnets and different things for different avatars. Even if they're solving problems, your market's getting a little bit smarter about what they want to opt into, which is not. How do we make that offer a no-brainer for them?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a mentor that I had, and he told me a great secret. He says, basically, give all of your best information for free and charge premium for implementation. Okay. So yes, you're going to have a lot of competition out there, a lot of people that are solving problems or giving solutions, but typically it's kind of like lukewarm. They're saving all their best stuff for their paid programs. You want to go above and beyond and add an immense level of value upfront, solve a problem, give a quick, easy solution that makes it a no-brainer. Okay. So like a lot of things that work really well are just making it as easy as possible for a person to follow. Okay. So let's say, for example, if I'm a busy mom, weight loss expert. Okay. I know that if I have a busy mom, she's not going to want to read a 30-page ebook or basically watch a 2-hour video. So I could be like, here is a quick checklist of quick and easy recipes you can create in 5 minutes for your family that are healthy and tasty. Okay. So that's an offer, an ethical bribe that's solving a problem. It's a promise. Add your email as a call to action and I will give it to you. So it's very easy to consume. It's highly valuable. And for my specific target demographic, it's a perfect lead magnet. It's perfect ethical bribe for them to move forward into my funnel.
Alignment. I love it. Okay. But once you've got the no-brainer,
yes,
then how do we determine which platform? Because everybody's like, ooh, Facebook ads are sexy. Now YouTube ads are sexy. Now Instagram ads are sexy. Tell me more about how they can start going down that path and how we even do it if we're non-techie.
Okay, that's a great question. So here's one thing that I've come to find with all my students, and this is my personal opinion. I feel like we're going to have 3 types of different skills or modalities that we're an expert at. Okay. So let's say if we look at video, audio, and text, typically out of those 3, we're a master at one of them. So for example, for me, I love video. They come very easy to me. and I could just hit record in one shot. I'm good to go. However, I'm a turtle typer. So when it comes to like writing a blog post, I literally hunt and peck. I'm so slow. So I'm not so good at writing blog posts. I'm not so good at just creating content that in the written word or writing emails. So for me, since videos very easy to me, I create a lot of videos, and I use the paid platforms for videos. So I like to use YouTube ads, Facebook ads. I upload videos and they convert really well for me. Okay. So on the other end, if you are really good at text, writing emails, writing blog posts, you want to use the paid traffic or even the organic marketing, perhaps starting a blog or perhaps sending traffic, paid traffic to your blog, the modality that you're good at, right? So this is an amazing podcast. If you're great at audio, right? Start developing interviews and audios and use that audio as a lead magnet, as some type of paid traffic mechanism that's based on your skill. So a lot of people try to do a lot of different things at once. I say focus on your strengths and focus on mastering your strength.
Heck yeah. I only started this because I hated writing and I was just ridiculously slow. And I was like, oh, I could just talk forever. This is awesome. So even for the example of me, I've tried, actually I haven't tried YouTube ads yet. But we do a lot of video. YouTube actually doesn't like me very much, and we've had people that have flagged stuff and all sorts of fun stuff, which is awesome. So going down that rabbit hole of do I go down YouTube or do I not has always been one of those things, because we don't have control over some of this stuff. And so part of me is going, do I go down this even though I'm still on a 15-minute limit on YouTube? We've come back. Again, we got shut down again.
Wow.
It's so, I don't even know who it is. We've tapped into every resource we possibly can to try and get this. I say nice things. I don't, I'm not, anyway. So going down that rabbit hole is sort of difficult for me specifically. So I don't teach a lot of YouTube ad stuff. But can you sort of enlighten us on how, if we were to go down, let's say that platform, how do we even start? Because I don't even know really that world all that much.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two type of YouTube ads. So it's kind of like the YouTube pay-per-click ads, and also you have YouTube in-stream ads. So a great example of an in-stream ad is like a Tai Lopez ad. We've all seen them.
Oh my gosh, everywhere.
Here in my garage, here's my house, my Lamborghini, but it's those annoying ads that essentially when you click on a video you want to see, this person pops up and you have to wait 5 or 6 seconds and you hit skip ad, okay? So right now, YouTube in-stream ads are working remarkably well, and there's not a lot of people that are doing them. It's not as saturated as like Facebook ads or, other platforms. So you want to start with YouTube in-stream ads because they don't require a lot of skill. They're literally, like I said, 15-second to 1-minute videos. And from there, you could basically start testing those out. Right now, they're fairly cheap compared to the other YouTube platforms. And essentially, if you go into the Google Ads platform, super easy to set up a YouTube in-stream ad, where basically if you have a Google account, you have a Google Ads platform, you just add your credit card to it. And from there, you start to just upload little files, short video files. And from there, you use that as your in-stream ad. They click on the in-stream ad and that sends traffic back to your site. So I would say that's a good starting point because the YouTube pay-per-click could get a little challenging, but starting off with a YouTube in-stream ad, that's a great way to get traction, cheap traffic, and also to gain mastery in this field.
Okay, I love this. So I have an agency that does my Facebook stuff, right? But I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, do I go down this? Do I not? I've had a bunch of friends that teach YouTube ad stuff. Actually, teach me how to do it, and I still won't do it. So give me the beginnings. Okay, so let's say we create a 15-second or 1-minute video. Where should we send them to? How do we get them to click? What's good numbers for us? I know we're sort of going down the rabbit hole of this. I don't know how expert you are on this, but I want to know, and I'm assuming everybody else does, if we're going to start creating some of this, what are our expectations and how do we get it to the end result? Because I feel like people start and then stop without any results on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're first starting out, and you don't probably have a converting offer, or you're not too good with, let's say, selling on a sales page or selling on a webinar, you originally want to build your list, okay? So just collecting emails. So whether it's Facebook, it's YouTube, you want to create a simple ad to collect a person's email. So as we mentioned, you're creating this unbelievable offer that's specific for your target market. that's a great way to start, where you're sending into a simple landing page. Give me your email and I will give you this offer. And right when they enter their email, that's when you want to start your warm-up mechanism, whether it's your autoresponder, video series, webinar if they're ready to go. So I would just say start with that, right? Create a simple landing page and just go for the email. The problem is a lot of times people, they'll create ads and send the traffic right to a sales page, or they want to send it right to a webinar that's probably not converting that well. Okay. So most people, let's say if they're wanting to watch a YouTube video and they see you pop up, skip ad, they're not going to watch an hour-long webinar or go into a sales page and read and buy. They want to add their email and continue watching their video. So when you're first starting out, just start focusing on building your list. Take that email, bring them into your world, and then warm them up, on your own time, essentially.
So when do we make those one-on-one offers? Because a lot of people, especially at the beginning, are like, okay, well, if I'm going offline where I have one-on-ones, it's easy for me to go online with one-on-ones. Plus, it's a higher price point, and we don't have to worry about the rigmarole of all the tech side as much. How do we convert the people that are on our email list that are starting to get a little bit warm to one-on-one clients, especially if you have a kind of a high price point already because you've been doing it a while?
Yeah, that is a great question. It really depends on your target market. It's a great question. So let's say if you're selling coaching, essentially you could start to develop an email list, have a series of people that are interested, and you're going to want to have like different price points, what I call like, your product suite, where you have like a low end program, midpoint program, a high end program, and just basically put out different offers to segment people in terms of where they want to go. So obviously coaching at the highest level at one-on-one would be something you would do a phone call with and enroll people into a higher price point, or perhaps something that's on the lower end, maybe like a 3-week program that's obviously not as much your time and energy. You could, get people to invest in that. But it's kind of like understanding that as you're building your list and have people coming into your world, you're going to have a variety of different investments. So it's, kind of like a green light person and a yellow light or a red light. So red light is like cold traffic. Who the hell are you and why should I invest in you? Maybe they're not going to buy $1,000, $2,000 program off the bat. They'll probably buy a low end program, know, like, and trust you more, than go into like an orange light program and then go into the green light. Green light's like if a person's in severe pain and they're ready to go. All right, Jamie, I need your help at the highest level. I'll pay whatever it takes. So it's kind of, like I said, as you have different warm-up vehicles, autoresponder, video series, and a webinar, you want to have different offers, right? For the different people that are coming in, people that are ice cold, red, people that are green, ready to go.
So let's talk about numbers in this too. So you're telling us about the funnel, which I love, right? We're pushing people down the funnel, we're guiding people along, right?
Yes.
To give them offers. And of course this takes time, because if you have to create lower end offers and higher, we only have so much time and all that stuff. Can you give me numbers as far as how long we think it will take to create? I mean, that sounds like if we did all of those things, the suite, that would take a while. And how many numbers can we expect? If we get 100 people on our email list, is that going to convert into anything at all? What have you seen typically?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, if you have 100 people on your email list, obviously it's not a large majority of people that's going to make a tangible business, but obviously it's a good starting point. And, basically you want to get at least 10% of those people into your high-end package. Okay. So it's kind of like you create your flagship program. So let's say in the case of the life coach, that could be $1,000 12-week program. It's like, that's like your baby. That's like your main dream come true experience. And let's say, for example, that could be one-on-one coaching. Okay. Then you could create like a midpoint program that's perhaps like a $500 12-week package, but that's group coaching, right? Instead of one-on-one, small group, anywhere from like 4 to 6 people on a weekly call. And that's going to be your time, but based on a group setting. Maybe they can't afford the high-end program. That's great midpoint offer. And then a simple lower-end offer would be either from $97 to $297, and that would just be like a membership portal, something where you're not giving any of your time or energy. It could be a series of, let's say, 5 or 6 video modules that they go through, they study on their own. So it's having those offerings, and it's very simple. Like I said, a lot of the same content could be used at all three of those, but it's just a delivery mechanism. One would be like a static site that they're just watching and viewing on their own time. Would be like a group coaching model where they're working with other people. And then the highest level would be one-on-one, customized, intimate coaching. So essentially, all of your programs are solving a very similar problem. It's just the amount of time and energy that you're putting to help your clients.
Okay, so let's say we are going to do a group thing, because they probably already have their one-on-one offering if they came from offline, I'm assuming. I'm talking about health or whatever in terms of what you normally teach. So
Yes.
Then we're trying to create our group thing. And the hard thing, and people come to me all the time going like, so if I start a group thing, we need more than a couple people in it, right? We need like at least 10. So that way it feels more group-like, or 6 or however many it is. And when we're just starting with paid traffic and stuff, it's hard to get the momentum to actually do like a mini launch or whatever you want to call it, to try and get the first few people in the group program. What do you usually suggest for somebody creating that as a group program and then selling that specific offering to get enough people in the group?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And essentially, like, you could create the program as you go along. Okay. And this is something that I've done, and I have a lot of my students do it.
Me too.
So let's say if you have a 12-week program, right? You don't have to have the whole 12 weeks built out. You could have the idea, the result, right? The promised land you want to take them. That's all people care about, right? Essentially, you could do a launch on social media using paid ads, and you're hitting a specific number. So let's say I'm going to take on 5 people on this 12-week journey with me, and it starts in 2 weeks per se, okay? So you put out your offers, you warm people up, enroll them, sell them into your packages, and essentially you're literally building this program as you go along. So let's say, for example, it's 12 weeks. All you have to do is build out the first week, right? So whatever you do for the modules, let's say if it's a fitness program, the exercise plans, nutrition plans, mindset, you just build out week number 1. Your client's going to week number 1. They're immersing themselves in the content. You're getting feedback, how they like it, what they don't like. You're building out week number 2. Then they go into week number 2. Then you go to week number 3. And then you're just staying 1 week ahead of them. And essentially, as you're building out this 12-week program, that's going to be your core program. Okay. That's going to be like the foundation of your online coaching business. Now, you could have different ways of coaching, right? So in that 12-week program, you could offer a weekly one-on-one call with you. That's your flagship program, right? Your group program is that same exact 12-week infrastructure, just with a group call once a week. And if you just want to sell the 12-week just by itself, just maybe talk through autoresponders or automated text messages without any group coaching or one-on-one, then they could just get access to that as well. So it's not really having to create all these new programs. It's having this one skeleton program that has different levels of coaching based on a person's investment.
Okay. And that makes perfect sense. I call it a beta, but it's the same thing of going, okay, let's figure out what these people actually really want, and let's deliver that. Because I created a 12-week program at the very, very beginning, and nobody cared. Well, it didn't hit the pain point. It hit too many pain points, which I should have known, and I didn't. So I wasted a ridiculous amount of time. Shame on me. So that's why people don't create the program before you sell it.
I'm so glad you said that, Jamie. Yeah, because that's such a great point. It's a mistake that I've made in the past. I didn't do enough market testing, and I would spend all this time creating like the perfect program, but nobody wanted to buy it. So we're living in this beautiful information age where literally within days, we could set up a membership portal. We could film videos, edit them, add the content. So the simplicity of, let's say, just creating a webinar, putting out an offer or video series and saying, this is the result I'm going to help you achieve. This is the pain that I heal. And here's the investment. And then seeing if people bite. Once they pay you, Jamie, here's $1,000. I'm ready to go. And let's say in your mind, you want 5 people to make this a viable idea. Once you get those 5 people invested in you, you have the money in your merchant account, then you can go to work building the program as you go along. And it's a lot more fun to do it that way too, because it's that good pressure of people depending on you every week.
Heck yeah. And you have exactly who your avatar is. You can ask them questions on what they want at the same time, which I think is awesome. But what I want to dive in deeper on, how do we get the those 5 people? Because I know you're like, oh, we enroll them in the program. And it's like, great. But that's, I think, where everybody gets stuck. They get the idea of creating the program as we go. Because Jeff Walker calls it like a seed launch. Everybody sort of talks about, yeah, exactly. Everybody's, I came from tech, so I call mine beta. Horrible name, by the way. But, but I think the thing that's important is that selling is not necessarily everyone's favorite skill set. So we try and push it off and go, oh, I'll just do paid marketing and hope that it all works out happy, all fun. And then they get into it and then they get frustrated. So while we're going through, especially paid advertising, because paid advertising means you're forking over cash before we even have anybody say yes. When you take us down the trajectory of how do we get those first 5 group coaching people, let's say we did paid traffic, how much should we be spending to test, especially if we're trying to figure this on our own and not pay an expert? When we start going down this trajectory, people get scared, they're afraid of all sorts of stuff, and usually we don't end up selling 5 because they're so frustrated with the whole process. Because I know it seems simple when we talk about it, but it ain't easy, right? When you're getting into it, you're like, okay, I don't know what to do now. And if they don't have somebody that they can really rely on, like you, what do they do? So take me through that process of actually trying to sell 5 people, maybe with an example, so it'll be a little easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of what I do for my students is focusing on the lead generation and the sales in the beginning, because once you have the investment and the cash flow, then you could repurpose that money to build out the program, obviously get ads and all that stuff. So it's the simplicity of this. Let's say if you're just first starting out, the first thing you want to do is to basically get a clear understanding of what your program is. So getting dialed in with your superpower, who is your target market, what are their pains, what are their frustrations, what are their dreams, what are their desires, really understanding the conversations that go on in their minds, okay? Once you have a clear understanding of your avatar, then from that point, you want to develop a marketing system, okay? So specifically, it could be putting out videos on social media, right? You have your Facebook followers, and you're just creating a simple video series telling people about this new offering that you're having, right? So I'm launching this new program. I'm taking on 5 people, and it's going to start in 2 weeks per se, right? Like this post, and I'll give you more information about it. Okay, so people like the post, then you start to warm them up. Okay, doesn't require a sophisticated process. It's basically just reaching out to them, emailing them back and forth, getting them from 1, 2 to 5, 6, 7. You could feel it out. The more that they write in terms of you're gonna ask them questions, the longer their answers, the more in pain that they're in. So you could have a gauge of all right, this person is ready to jump on the phone. So in a non-awkward, smooth way, you say, hey, let's jump on a quick 10-minute call. I want to see if or how I can help you. On that quick call, you could gauge if they're the right fit for the program, right? You could see if they have the investment for it, if they have the attitude, if they're a person that you would love working with, right? And it's just having a simple conversation. Obviously, we get more sophisticated and I have a lot of sales scripts and templates for my students, but you don't really need that to start. You just want to see if this person is financially viable for your program, but also using some sales to basically create the desire, right? Asking about their pain and their problem. How long will you go on living like this, right? And then once you realize wow, I need to make a change. I need to solve this problem. Then you make a nice, smooth offer. Well, this is what my program consists of, okay? Once you have that conversation and they're ready to invest, you can just collect money on PayPal, send the money to my PayPal, do it all over the phone and get the investment, okay? So let's say we're putting out the marketing system, starting with the emails, jumping on that easy, simple, friendly conversation, getting the investment. Once you hit your goal, let's say you want 5 people at $1,000 a piece, a $5,000 investment, then from that point on, you can start the build out on the back end. And this is going to be like your core coaching program, right? Where you're perhaps starting from scratch, starting from zero. Obviously, over time, as you generate more income, you get more people into your funnel, you get more sophisticated. But just that alone will give you enough traction and momentum to want to scale up further down the line.
Awesome. So typically, especially for somebody that's kind of newer to sales, how many of those sales calls do you think that they have to hop on in order to get 5 sales?
Yeah. I mean, really sales is something where, nobody's like a natural born salesman or saleswoman. I used to suck at sales. I had this big fear of asking people for money. It would get so awkward. And I really learned that I just had to change what my perception of sales was. I thought it was like this cheesy used car salesman trying to finagle people. And I realized, honestly, I feel sales is a transfer of love. It's like, I care about you and I love you enough to improve your life, right? I see that the pain that you're in is not serving you, and I don't want to see you miserable. I care about you and I want to help you. And making people realize that the cost of staying where they are is far more expensive than investing in you to take them to the promised land. So, when you come from a place of love and just knowing that your program is for your client's best interest, and when they know that you care and they feel that, wow, she cares about me, he cares about me, then it's an easy conversation, because you don't have to be like, well, I got to close this person. I have to extract money out of their wallet to get into mine. That's a whole different paradigm. But if it's like, I genuinely want to help this person and I have something that they truly need, then it's a softer, gentler conversation. So, if you look at it from that point of view, it's simply just making an offer, showing them the value, showing them that the pain of staying where they are is costing them far more than the small investment to solve their problem. Then it's an easy conversation. So it shouldn't take that many sales calls per se, because if you have an offer that's irresistible and if you have a person that's in a severe amount of pain and you could really portray that in the conversation, then it's a very smooth transaction.
Hot prospects. And I used to be the exact same way. I thought sales was horrible. And when I actually realized that, the person with integrity should be the one sell, what I mean? There's so many people that they're giving money to probably that don't have integrity and don't actually care about them as a human being. I was like, oh, wait, no, I should be the one. Yes, I will. Not that I'm a hard pitcher in any way. I'm always like, hey, no big deal either way, but I know I can help. Makes it so much better. Even though I learned all of the sales, all the tactics, right? There's like, you have to make a decision on this call. You have to do that. You have to do that. And I just can't. I'm like, you know what? If you like it, great. If you don't, cool. We'll be friends. No big deal either way. And I think that changes people's mindsets around sales. Cause I did Kirby vacuum cleaners for a while and I learned exactly the wrong way on doing sales. So it took me a really long time to get up to speed. But I see that with clients is that they have this thing in their brain where they're like, oh, I have to hop on the phone with somebody and try and pitch them. But it doesn't have to be. I love it the way you look at it with love instead of with oh, I just want your money. Because that's not it at all. The whole point is to help them with the result that they're going to get in the end, which is what you do.
Yeah. And the great thing is to look at your program and look at the amazing transformation you could create for your clients. And when you start to map out well, this is the result I'm going to give them, it's you want to serve them. It's you feel like you're doing them a disservice by not offering it for them, right? So that's one of the key things as well to imagine yourself. Let's say if you got paid $1 million to create the dream come true online transformation program, how would you create it in such a way that every single person that you spoke to, you felt the need in your heart that they had to go through it?
That's huge. And such a different way of coming across instead of being I'm going to sell a digital program and make money and hope, yay, right? Yeah. Instead of I want passive income, I want to help other people as much as humanly possible. It's, thank goodness we can use internet marketing for good and not evil, right?
Absolutely.
I know we have to start wrapping up in just a minute. But before we go down that, we didn't even talk about partnerships. So give me an idea on how we can start that. Because I know that's sort of a scary hole to go down for people sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's, let's say, 3 main ways that I like to create partnerships. And it could start with you not having a list, because I think that's one of the big things that people worry about, saying, well, I really don't have a big following or a big list. So how can I ask Jamie to partner with me, right? What value can I add to her? As I mentioned, one example would be if I know that you're trying to solve a specific problem, I could just make an offer to you. Hey, Jamie, I would love to chat sometime. Let's jump on a quick call. I have something that I would love to serve you with. Okay. So let's say if your goal is to, squat 300 pounds and I'm a strength coach, Jamie, I have the best coaching program that's going to help you squat 300 pounds and we can work out an offer. I will coach you for the next 12 weeks. And all I ask for you is to refer me 1 new client a month. Okay. So if that's something we could do, then I'd be more than happy to coach you for free. I typically charge $5,000 for my coaching program. Okay. That's one way of adding value to someone and getting referrals. Okay. Another way is basically creating content for the specific partner. Okay. This is in a sense a partnership itself, right? I'm helping your audience. I'm sharing my passion, creating content. I'm serving them, right? But at the same time, your audience gets to see who I am and what I stand for, my philosophy. Okay. Another way could be like, all right, well, let's do a webinar. So let's say, for example, I have a mommy blogger and she teaches lifestyle design, but I teach mommy online fitness. I could be like, well, you teach them lifestyle design and fashion per se. What I'll do is I'll create a special video training about mom specific fitness, and I'll create that for your audience free of charge. And you can now use this as a valuable piece of content for fitness. It's non-competitive. Obviously, I'm serving them. And by seeing this content, that could be a potential way of getting clients. And then you have the old classic way, as one hand washes the other. Okay. So if I have a big email list, then I'll be like, Jamie, I'll promote your stuff to my list, and if you can promote my stuff to your list. Okay. So there's multitude of ways of creating partnerships, but understanding how can you start with the giving hand first? How can you create value? And from that point on, ask, for it in return.
I love that, especially at the beginning. I didn't realize how many people were giving free coaching or free whatever. Because, Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas both use the same coach guy. And he emailed me too and was like, oh, I already had a coach at the time, a wellness coach. But he was giving his services and he made really good friends. So like, no kidding. Of course, your coach that's working with you every single week. Of course, you guys are going to make really good friends. So this random guy that just knows a lot about health and fitness, nothing about online stuff. Of course, I don't know his name to mention him, but that's okay. But he really started building a relationship with them. And then Pat told me about him. And then it's amazing how just a small, simple email or two will make a huge difference on the people that you know. And like you said, referrals. Of course, Pat talks about his amazing coach all the time, which is so insane that you don't even need anything to start with anymore. We live in an amazing world.
I'll give you an example that happened to me recently. I had a young guy who basically is getting into the Facebook ads world, and he made me an offer I could not refuse. He's like, AJ, do you need more leads in your business? I'm like, of course, I can never.
Nobody says
leads.
No, exactly.
Why not? He's like, I will run your ads account. I usually charge $1,000 a month, but I will get you at least 100 new leads if you refer me to one person every single month. That's a no-brainer. He's offering me leads. Why not? And all I have to do is refer him. If he's already getting me leads, getting me results, it's a win-win transaction, So it's like so many people would love to get your help, would love to get your coaching if you know how to position it in a way that makes it a win-win for both of you.
I love it. All right. So I know we have to start wrapping up. So I'm going to ask the last question, but what's one action listeners can take this week to help move them forward towards their goal of 1 million?
Yes, absolutely. So my core philosophy is when you tap in to your superpower, when you're living in your zone of genius, then you could create millions, you could create freedom, you could impact people in a far easier way. I'm a big believer in alignment. When you're in full alignment with your life's purpose, everything happens with ease. I know it from myself and many other people. I'm sure a lot of people that you've interviewed, there's a different way about them. They're not struggling. They're not pushing. It just happens effortlessly. So an action that's very simple is to get crystal clear on what your superpower is. Now, this is something that I have my students do. It's a very simple process, but it'll give you so much insight. And it's very simple. It's basically creating an email template, sending it to 20 to 50 of your closest friends and family members, and just typing this, use this word for word. Hey, I would love to get your insight. I really respect your opinion. If you could say what my superpower is, what do you think it is? Or what are some abilities that you find are unique about me? I would love to get your feedback. Okay. So you're essentially asking the closest people in your life to describe what your superpowers are, what your unique ability, insight. That's how the world sees you, right? So it gives you so much great breakthroughs on your marketing, on your positioning, on your skill sets. If you're wanting to write a book or start a podcast or create an online business, these are going to be the building blocks of your $1 million business, because sometimes it's, we have this awareness of like what we do, but it's getting the feedback from the closest people around us. to understand why they're our friends, why they buy from us, why they're so close to us. There's specific things that attract them to us.
I love this too. Knowing your strengths, hugely important to any $1 million business that we've talked about on here beforehand, but it's hard for us to look in our own brain. So you actually, and I've gotten these emails before and I remember going like, ooh, what is their secret sauce? Because it's hard to see that for yourself. So I implore everybody that's listening to actually go do that, whether they feel like they know what their strengths are or not, because it's also some really good love from all your friends going like, oh, you're so amazing. So tell us, where can we find more about you online, how we can follow you on social? I know you do tons of videos on Facebook. So tell us everything to follow you.
Absolutely, Jamie. So my main website's onlinesupercoach.com. Super easy. That's like my central hub. I have a lot of free online courses on there. I have my books. I do seminars a few times a year. Everything is on there. And I'm very active on Facebook. My Facebook is super simple. Facebook.com/AJ Fit, AJFIT. You'll find me there. I love creating videos. I love going live. It's a platform where I get to share my superpowers.
I love it. And you're so smart to not have to have everybody spell your last name. I totally understand.
Yes, it's horrible.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jamie. This was awesome. And I want to acknowledge you for your show because I've been listening to it for years. And it's truly an honor to be on here because I just love how you bring out the best in people. Your interview skills are out of this world. And seriously, like this is like a dream come true to be on here. So I'm really grateful for this experience.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I've seen you just grow and grow and grow. So when you were like, oh no, by the way, I can come on the show, I was like, no way. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. I think that's amazing. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And if you want to check out more amazing resources, I'm only curating the best of the best. Go check out eventualmillionaire.com. You can take the Eventual Millionaire quiz, figure out where you are in business and what you need right now. Plus, you can look at curated resources specifically for you on the new Start Here page. I'm so excited. Please join us. Please let me know if you need anything at all. I'm here for you. And have a fantastic day. Bye.